You wish to be flashy? You want to slash your foe with a sharp claw, drown them in the blood, and set them on fire? Maybe kill them with the cuteness? Then look no further, my friend, because today we're gonna bring Nezuko to Eldenring. Yes, you heard it right. Buckle up, I'm Madnet, and this is Eldenring Cosplay Nezuko. Let's break down how Nezuko fight. As we saw in the intro, she fight like a vanguard using only close range attack, mainly her fists, claws, and her legs. And Nezuko also extremely fast and have a high mobility. She can control also her blood to make it burn, which is make it the only range attack kind of she have. Lastly, not forgetting to mention her passive in the enemy where she can fast regenerate her health. So yeah, we're gonna blend all of these aspects into our build. I wanna talk about the look first, cause it was the hardest part to do, to be honest. I went with a traveling maiden robe because it's pinkish with some spot of blood on it and it has the cap, so it should give us the closest outfit to what Nezuko wear. Clearly not. Anyway, there is another option would fit also, but I didn't choose, which is the noble traveling garb. It look nice, it give the gap between the shoes and the robe that Nezuko has normally in the enemy, but the color kinda meh, you know what I mean? But yeah, you have it as an option if you want to wear it. And as for the leg, I went with the champion gatoress, if I did pronounce it right. It is the closest leg piece I could find. Lastly, I equipped Sorcerer Manchet for more defense, also they don't appear under the traveling maiden robe, which is perfect for our cosplay. Now let's talk about the juicy part, Nezuko Blood Demon Art. It called Explosive Blood, which allow her to ignite her blood or even conjure it from thin air. And for that I used Bloodborne to imitate her explosive blood. It's a spell allow you to throw flammable blood in shape of line, and after hitting the floor you will set a zone of fire, dealing minor damage to your enemy and building up bleed on them. As we saw in the intro, she has a bloody claw slash, so I went with the blood flame talents to mimic that. You slash in front of you, leaving claw marks, and after a brief moment, it explodes, dealing fire damage and building up bleed on your enemy. And as for the Sage mode, when she transforms and becomes stronger, I've used Flame Grant Me Strength for more damage on the weapon spells, as you can see on the screen, and also for stamina regen, and it gives our character the cool effect of like demonic power. I'm using the Dragon Seal to cast a spell because it has the highest scaling with Arcane. The weapon that I'm using is the Raptor Talons and the Bloodhound Claws for the close attack, since she's a demon and she uses her claw. So yeah, this is the weapon that we use for emitting claw. And the Spiked Cetus, or if I did pronounce it right, it's for fist and legs attack. Now when it comes to affinity upgrade, you will go with Occult cause this build will have mainly Arcane as main stat. As for her physical abilities, Nezuko is extremely fast and agile. For that I choose to go with the Bloodhound step, although put in your mind since the community in Eldenring hate, or part of it hate the Bloodhound step, I did switch with the quick step for dual purposes, but in PvE and Invasion I kept the Bloodhound step. She is also famous for using her leg to stomp the ground. You will know that if you watch the enemy. Anyway, I went with a Storm Stomp on Spiked Cetus to copy her leg stomp. This Asha 4 does stagger enemy even mid-attack, but put in your mind it does not interrupt the hyper armor, which makes this Asha 4 one of the nicest open to attack our foe or to use our Blood Flame Talon spell. Lastly, Nezuko has a high durability and she is hard to kill, and for that I went with the Asha 4 Endure on one of our weapons to give the feeling of durability, and it's also a great Asha 4 to use on short weapons such as the Claw because it gives you 40% damage reduction and hyper armor in the same time, so you can use it as a buy to attack back harder without being interrupted. For her ability to regen health, I'm using the Flask of Wonder Physic with the Crimson Burst Crystal tier. And the Crimson Bubble tier, I have it here for extra chance survivability, especially in PvP. If you don't want to use the Crimson Burst Crystal, you can use the Beastal Vitality as a health regen. Moving on to the talisman, for me the talisman are the tool to fill the weakness of my build or make my character more powerful in general. As for PvE set, I pick up the Radagon icon for more casting speed because it provides 30 imaginary dexterity. In case you are new in the game, dexterity raises up the casting speed, which is capped at 70 dexterity. For more defense purposes, I pick up the Dragon Crest Shield +1, which is give me 13% damage reduction. It's needed for our build because we have almost no defense. The Lord of Blood Exaltation for more damage. When you bleed your enemy, your attack power will increase by 20% for 20 seconds. And this build is based around bleed damage, so it's a big boost for our damage. The last talisman is the Winged Sword Insignia. This talisman buffs your attack power on 3 stages. It's a start at 3% and then 5% and then 10%. Each stage activates upon hitting your enemy 3 times. So if you manage to hit your enemy 9 times in a quick succession, you will receive 10% more damage, which is very useful in a fast hitting weapon such as the weapon that we are using. As for PvP set, I switched to talisman for more survivability. The first one is Earth Tree Favor for more HP and stamina durability overall. The second one is the Blue Feathered Branch Sword. This talisman gives us 50 flat damage negation at 20 HP, so I found this is very useful to trick enemy when they think they can take me in one hit at 20 HP. Otherwise, you can customize the talisman the way that you want. Moving on to the stat, we want 50 in vigor for a large pool of health since we are squishy, 22 in mind for a good FP to cast our spell and Asha 4, 18 endurance is for 110 stamina, which is a good pool of stamina, strength and dexterity to meet the requirement of our weapon, 15 faith to be able to cast our spell and the buffs, 60 arcane cause our bleed stat build up and our spells get more damage by using the dragon seal, which is scaled mainly with arcane. As for my experience with this build, it's extremely satisfying when you slash your enemy and bleed them to death, and it's also, since you have a fast roll and high mobility, it gives me the different vibe of any other build that I make so far. It gives me the sense of being kinda enemy character in Eldenring, moving around, jumping around, having like cool spells. Also, the enemy side of this cosplay make it fun, because when you finish your enemy with a stylish spell thinking that you are Nezuko cutting through everything in the game, it just gives you a different vibe, it's just hit different. The downside of this build is the low defense and the lack of pose, which is make it really hard to new player play it or try it even, because you need to time every move that you do or every attack that they will do. And also the lack of the range on your weapon when you attack, especially with the claw, they have very small hitbox, so it will make it very hard to deal with a lot of enemy or big enemy. Sometime when you attack them, you're gonna like notice that your attacks is not connected. So this is the only downside about this build. Also, I must mention that in one of the duels that I did, I used Bloodhound Step when my foe were spamming the River of Blood ability, which is make him run to the cliff and suicide for some reason. Apparently this Asha 4 is hated and unacceptable to be used in duelist. I don't know for sure, so I decided to switch my skill to Quick Step. I included PvP and Invasion in this video, but before that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider like, share and subscribe because it will help me to keep making videos. And also let me know what you think about this build down in the comment section below. And now I will leave you with the PvP. Enjoy!